Action. What's up, Mixed Reactions? It's Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. It's myself, Ian, Casey, Justin, joined once again by Nick. How's it going today, Nick?
I'm doing well.
Yes, sir. What about you, Casey?
No complaints, just ready for a Tuesday night talking sports with you bitches.
Yeah, I'm doing well, my Rams lost, but we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to introduce Justin last because his Patriots, and I was somehow convinced by his spirit to also pick them, beat the Bills this past weekend, handing Buffalo their first L. Philly also took their first L, but yeah, I'm gonna go and put myself on mute, going just talk about your thoughts about the Patriots.
Oh my God. I mean, if there was a game, if you could script that, like the Patriots had to play their A+ game to beat the Bills in Orchard Park, they did it. Granted, it didn't. The game was sloppy, and I mean sloppy. The Bills, for the majority of the game, were killing themselves penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. And in the first quarter, I'm not sure when Allen's interception was, but they were trading turnovers like it was going out of style to start off with. It's like, okay, we're gonna have a turnover fest, and the Bills are gonna be covered in yellow towels all night long. But let's pump the brakes on that deal. This was Drake May's coming out party, straight up. Absolutely, this was the signature win to establish him as a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And Stephon Diggs had his revenge game in Buffalo. You couldn't have scripted it better.
No, it's a fair point. Like, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I definitely agree this is Drake May's signature win. This is New England's best win since Tom Brady was there. And so New England now is to the point where expectations are kind of a thing now for him, right? So
Yeah, I
it's
mean, at this point, you have to say if you don't make the playoffs, considering where you are and what they have on the schedule slate going forward, it's a disappointment.
no, it absolutely will be. Look at your next three games. You've got the Saints, the
Next four
Titans, and the Browns.
games.
So who's after the Saints, Titans, and Browns?
Um, I had to pull it up here. Hang on 1 second.
Dolphins
Uh,
going to be somewhere, so in the Jets twice, right?
Yeah, they still got
Falcons.
the Jets
I mean,
twice.
they have the Saints, Titans,
Oh,
Browns, Falcons.
Falcons. That's not an easy win. No
Not an
way.
easy win, but they should be. But they should be favored in the game.
Maybe. I mean, that's 4 weeks from now. So we'll see how these teams play out over the next 4 weeks before we can make that determination. But
But
what I'm
on
saying is,
paper, looking at their schedule, now the question mark is where Baltimore is come week 16. But I can only pencil in maybe three more losses on the season slate.
That's if
so
everything goes according to plan.
If everything
that's
goes according to plan, right now I would pencil in three losses as
Yeah.
things stand right now.
and
That's
see,
what's so much
that's just
fun
it.
about. That's
Go
what's so
ahead,
It's
Nick.
a
much fun
12
about
and 5 season.
the schedule is what makes it fun right here. Because like 2 weeks ago, we weren't even taking Patriots as a threat, and now all of a sudden they beat a division opponent, a tough division opponent on a Sunday
A
night
Super
football game.
Bowl contender.
Super Bowl
Yes.
contender is correct, but I mean, if we're gonna go by the whole like thing of a division game, like Carolina beat the shit out of friggin' Atlanta, and we don't consider them anything special right now.
True. But
I'm just
Carolina is
saying,
not
if
sniffing
they
at Tampa Bay either.
we can play a what if game. If they lose to the Saints next week, are you gonna go back to
Well, yeah,
normal, or are we going?
if they drop an egg against the Saints or the Jets, then you come back down to earth. But as it stands right now, it's
Yeah,
playoffs or bust.
Well, see,
yeah,
Justin,
that's true.
that's the point that I was getting to about the expectations, right? Because as where this was the coming out party, as where this was their biggest win in 5 years, if they happen to stumble and fall down and lose against the Saints team who just picked up their first win of the season last week, then that game, I'm not saying the Bills win then becomes irrelevant, but it holds less meaning because it still shows that, yes, on their A game, they can contend with a good team who's clearly not playing their A game, but are still the same old Patriots that we've known for the past 5 years. This is where the expectations could be a good thing or a bad thing because this
Yes,
win
agreed.
could propel them. This win could propel them to where they beat the dog shit out of the Saints, beat the Browns, beat the Titans. If they win those next three in a row, then you're sitting in a real spot. But this is where the good teams don't have a letdown after a big win.
Right.
This is
They
where the
have
good
to. They have to go on a run now.
yes, because this is where the good teams seize the moment. This is where the good teams take control. If
They win
New
the games they
England,
should win.
yes, and that's what we need to see if New England can do. Because on paper, Justin, you're right. They should win the next three. I'd argue Atlanta should win the next one if it's at Atlanta, just because I think Atlanta's offense can be dynamic. But we can go back and forth on that one all day. I think that one could be a toss-up. But in Carolina, not Carolina, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Titans, the Saints, Browns, and Titans, sorry, all should be easy wins for New England, depending on the emergence of Dylan Gabriel. We don't know how that's going to go, I suppose. But these should be very, very simple games for New England. Stick to your game plan. Don't do anything fancy, and they should walk out with a win. Let's see if they can do that before we throw those expectations on them.
Can we just quickly mention that ridiculous throw that Drake May made at the final drive?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he was getting dragged by the freaking throat, and he got it off. How? I mean, I was waiting for Chris Collinsworth to say, "Oh my God, it looks like Patrick Mahomes," but
no,
it was a Mahomes-esque level throw.
It was a great throw, and you can, as we sit here today, it was a great win for New England. But your point kind of hammered home a point about that particular game too. And I don't want to kill your buzz. I don't want to kill your
played
high.
A shit game.
They did.
They played a shit game.
And it's one of those scenarios, and I hate using this term. I think the Bills lost that game more than the Patriots won that game.
Okay. I won't argue with that because you can make it's a valid argument. But I'm going to rest on my laurels and say, hey, this is a game you had to win to be relevant, and you did it.
I think there's just more motivation. There's more motivation for Stephon Diggs in this game than anything. Is he going to keep this fire going, or is he going to let it go out? And I want to know why was it a revenge game for Stephon Diggs? He's the one that left. He didn't want to be a part of the team. If anything, it should be a Buffalo Bills revenge game. He got his ass beat when they played for Houston. That has nothing to do. That's irrelevant. I don't understand how Stephon Diggs has so much respect but hatred for this team. It doesn't make any sense to me why he's mad at the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen should be mad at him. He's playing the victim because that's what he does. He's a diva, and it's gonna unfold when it starts unfolding.
No, that's a great point, Nick, especially with these diva type receivers. You see it yourself with Stephon Diggs in Minnesota. If things aren't going his way, he's not getting the ball, and New England starts to lose. This high that he's riding, it's gonna take a crash.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think Stephon Diggs is as good as he can possibly be when he's focused. But for some reason, when stuff doesn't go his way, he won't play that good. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be in the mix. But if he stays the way he is, I mean, why not? He could be the primary number one wide receiver.
No, he definitely could. Now, speaking of your Vikings, Nick, you guys got a pretty good win against a very solid defense this past Sunday. But I got to say, man, I cannot make heads or tails of the Vikings right now. One week, they look like they could be true contenders in the NFC. The week after that, they look like they could be picking top 10 in the draft. What is your thought so far as a Vikings fan? Especially like the win on Sunday, you could discuss that for sure. But just what you're seeing overall, what's your confidence ranking in this team?
I give him about a 6 right now. As far as Carson Wentz goes, he can manage the game, and that's what he did at the end of the game. He managed it right through. Got us right down to the end zone and friggin' scored it, gave Jordan Addison his chance, and got his flowers at the end. Now, if I had to go with Carson Wentz through this whole season, we're gonna either make the playoffs barely, or we're just gonna flat out just fall on our face. I believe that Carson Wentz, his ceiling's already there, and we're seeing it. They saw it against Pittsburgh, and we saw it against Cleveland. You can only be as good as he's the only guy that can really get us to the top, another level. Like, so we need something. Like I said, I'm going with JJ McCarthy. I want him to come back. I like what Carson Wentz does. He's a game manager. In my opinion, we just have a really great team, and I mean, we should be at least 500 with this team alone without even a quarterback, in my opinion.
No, you
Did
guys
his
have a
injury did
solid.
his injury towards the end of the first half concern you? Because it looked like they were going to end up going to the third stringer.
I mean, in a way, I wasn't really mad at it either. I was like, if we have to get if he's done, then I mean, let's give someone else a chance. It was very frustrating to watch. I mean, just watching these turnovers, watching Dylan Gabriel ball out, and I'm just like looking at the other side, and I'm like, "Come on, Carson Wentz, start hauling through with me, buddy." And
Yeah,
I was looking at Dylan Gabriel, and I'm just like, if he was on the Vikings right now, we'd probably already be up by 3 scores with this guy.
Hmm. Yeah, and
And
no,
that's
just
yeah.
one.
that's what I'm
Dylan
saying.
Gabriel looked really well. Dylan Gabriel looked really well. My concern for the Vikings, if I were a Vikings fan, that Atlanta performance would stick out in my head still, as would the first 3.5 quarters against the Steelers. I mean, yeah, you made it a game towards the end, but Pittsburgh dominated a good majority of that game. And of course, Atlanta, that game wasn't close from start to finish. But then you also had the games like in Cincinnati, where you just absolutely pummeled Cincinnati. And then, of course, this win this past Sunday. And so that's why I said I can't make heads or tails of the Vikings right now. I don't know if they're, I know they're a talented team. I just don't know if they're a good team.
We matched up well against that Cleveland defense. We outnumbered them freaking when Addison came back. But I don't know why he was even sitting. I don't care if he ain't walking through with the team. Sitting out in the first quarter when we're already desperately wanting to win, and then you have him sit out, and then all of a sudden he comes in and just balls out. But I think we overmatched them just in general. I mean, as far as the team goes, like I said, we can take this really far. It's just someone has to comprehend what we have. It's either Carson Wentz or JJ McCaffrey. I don't know which one's going to come through, but I just want to get there. I just want to win a Super Bowl.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
It's horrible. But I will say, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that Justin Jefferson is on my team. It
He
definitely
is an
takes a lot
absolute
of pressure off him, dude. He's
I
by
will say
far
that
my.
that catch by Addison was just absolute chef's kiss.
Me and
yes,
Casey were
yes.
talking about this earlier. He says that his CD Lamb and his George Pickens are better than my
I don't
Jefferson and
know.
my Addison.
They are.
I would lean towards Jefferson Addison over Pickens and Lamb right
I
now.
just do it
Here,
just for
here's
Jefferson.
here's my because my thought process on it, right? I say Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football, but CeeDee Lamb is right there. I think CeeDee Lamb's the second best receiver in football. Then it's Jamar Chase. But I think George Pickens is, I don't want to say significantly better, but noticeably better than Jordan Addison.
Hmm. The gap between him and Addison, I think, is more pronounced than
It's
the one between Pickens and
the
Lamb for
yes,
sure.
the gap between Pickens and Addison is larger than the gap between Jefferson and Lamb. Would you guys agree with that though?
You said between Pickens
I
and.
think Justin Jefferson is just beyond the talent out there. I can't go
I
Hmm.
against him.
don't
I'm biased
disagree.
anyway, but
I
I
don't
can't say
disagree. I
you're
think
wrong.
Justin Jefferson's the best,
I
but
can't say you're wrong because Justin Jefferson is leaps and bounds better than any other receiver in the league.
we'll be
Yeah.
talking something different if Devontae Adams really stays going with the Rams because Puka is just he's beyond this.
Devontae's another good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
beyond. The Rams have a great wide receiving core. They're just beyond the talent too.
Now that Rams receiving core is great, but Ian, what happened on Thursday, man? This is a
Matt
very
Jones.
few
The
times
Mac Jones
that
experience.
It
no,
sure
but
was.
true. But this is one of the few times that you could say it looks like Sean McVay got out coached. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it was in this past show, it was like 2 weeks ago, where Nick came on and he gave a rant about Mac Jones. It was really convincing. I was actually ready to couldn't switch up my pick on the show, but I was gonna bet on him, and then they started Purdy. But I mean, Mac Jones came out this game, and I mean, Jesus. I mean, we go down 14-0, we fumble. I mean, it was like you said, we just got out coached. I'm kind of going through it here. We're still letting Stafford throw the rock a lot. He's tied for second in the league, second most in the league with pass attempts with Mahomes. Um, but yeah, McCaffrey, Kendrick Bourne obviously had huge games, and Mac Jones is showing that it may not have been his fault in the past. And he has a high football IQ. I don't think many people have ever doubted that about Mac Jones. It was
No, it was
just
his
we
arm.
we we doubted his talent. Yeah, we doubted his arm. Um, but yeah, no, I mean that game. Yeah, that definitely changed. I didn't have a huge. I didn't think he could really survive. Maybe a serviceable backup, but I mean, he looked amazing going back to it here. 33 for 49, 342 yards passing. Like I said, Stafford still threw the ball 47 times. Puka got just shy of 100 yards. He had 82. Um, I don't know, man. It's just I think we were 6.5 point favorites coming into this game. I really didn't feel that confident. And then we just came out and looked like that. I mean, McCaffrey, what, 82 yards receiving. He had a decent amount on the ground as well. He's not looking washed. He looked a little bit better than I thought he would. But ultimately, Mac Jones, like you said, Sean McVay did get out coached. Kyle Shanahan is one of those, I want to say irreplaceable coaches, but same way I feel about Kevin O'Connell right now. You're not going to just go in and Sean
Yeah.
McVay. He's kind of stud. Like he's gonna have to really plummet to get fired. So he got out coached. We have who do we have this week? I just looked at the schedule, but I don't know, man. It was tough. San Francisco is going to be the best team in the division. Arizona, they blew it this weekend. Yeah,
Arizona just
and Seattle lost too. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But Thursday night. We Mac Jones just outplayed us. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. They look like a
Yes,
different.
he,
Mhm.
yes, he did outplay you. And you know why I went with Mac Jones the week the party started? I said, watch, this team is going to be in rough shape for some reason. When Mac Jones, I have so much belief in Mac Jones because when he's out there and he understands the game, it's just a perfect system of how I expected this to go for San Francisco. This guy had no, what is it? Everybody's absolutely injured for the friggin' San Francisco 49ers. And all of a sudden, Mac Jones is just like, you know what? We're going to turn it on right here. All I say is when you understand a system and you give the guy a chance, it's just magic. And that's exactly what Mac Jones is showing. And that's the reason why I'm so high on Daniel Jones. It's so complimentary football over there with him and Trent, not Trent. What's his name?
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Jeez, I kept on thinking Trent Richardson. but
I was thinking Anthony Richardson. I was like, no, he's talking about the running back.
but I'm saying it's just complimentary football, and you put these guys in the right spot, and it's just so nice to see them flourish. And when people give up on them when they're so down and out, and like, oh, they're just going to be journeyman. They're 26 years old. Let them have a team and see what they can really do, and it's flourishing. And I'm glad.
Absolutely.
Glad for
Yeah,
both of
and
them.
that's a good point about Mag or Daniel Jones. I was actually watching a video earlier. I remember we remember how he was perceived when they got rid of Saquon, and then obviously what Saquon did, and how bad of a Jones Mac or bad of a year Daniel Jones has. Granted, he does have Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, but I mean Daniel Jones was getting talked about like he wasn't even good enough to be a pro. And then we talk about guys like Baker Mayfield, who shit he might be in the running this year. It's a when you go to three or four different places and you keep having issues, you're the problem. But we have to start looking at if the problem's really the player, or if it's the organization. Sometimes it does end up being the player. I mean, there's guys that they are a problem everywhere they go. But I mean, Mac Jones, what he had to stint in New England. What did he start? A few games in Jacksonville, maybe.
2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, and then I mean he's what 26? I think he said 25, 26, something like that. So yeah, he's still young, man.
Speaking of Jacksonville, what a game
I fell
last
asleep.
night.
Before we dive into Jacksonville, fellas, I got to talk about my Cowboys real quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead.
So, how good can you feel about a beatdown against the Jets, right? Like that's like playing your 5-year-old brother in a game of Madden. It's not that impressive. It's not one of the wins that you hang your hat on. It's not one of the wins you write home about. But I will say this: down 4 starting offensive linemen, down CeeDee Lamb, down Cavante Turpin, and still hung about 40 on the board. Dak's playing about as well as any quarterback in the league right now. They have a solid foundation at run game with Javonte Williams. Jake Ferguson looks like to be back his old self. He's leading the league for tight end receptions right now. He is playing absolutely phenomenal. The George Pickens Dak connection, like I said last week, is just continuing to grow and grow and grow, showing again by that big deep ball touchdown pass in that game. Of course, the Jets got a couple late touchdowns to technically bring it closer, but that game was nowhere near as close as the scoreboard indicated. That was a complete wash. Um, it was the first time all year outside of the second half of the Philly game that I was actually impressed a little bit defensively. They got after Justin Fields, who's a mobile quarterback, so that's still impressive nonetheless. Got about 5 sacks. James Houston got 2. Marcus Latifu, he needs to be in the starting rotation because he punched that ball away from Brees Hall. And Jack Sanborn needs to go. I really like what I'm seeing from James at the middle linebacker position. He had 15 tackles on Sunday. I'm not saying this defense can be good or will be good or has any potential to be good, but I do like what I saw with the adjusted lineup that they had out there. And I'm hopeful it's a sign of things to come. I think Dak Prescott right now should be in the category for 2 things. First of all, comeback player of the year because he missed a lot of last year with injury. And of course, I think he should be in conversation for MVP currently. We'll see what this trend continues. They're due to get CeeDee Lamb back in the next couple of weeks. They're due to get Tyler Booker back in the next couple of weeks. I think one of the offensive linemen, Tyler Smith, is going to be back this Sunday against Carolina. So we'll see where this team is headed. I clearly think they have, if not the best, clearly one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I think that if they can continue on this trend, they may be able to make a little bit of noise down the stretch.
Yeah, and the reason I almost forgot about you is because it felt like, I remember the game from this past Sunday and almost felt like a layup, but the spread actually flipped in favor of New York because you guys were down 4 offensive linemen, you were down CeeDee Lamb, and the game was in
It
New
was in New
York
York.
too.
And
Um,
shout out
I
to
mean,
Ryan Flournoy, too. Their fifth receiver on the depth chart had over 100 yards in the first half.
Wow.
Before I know just want to talk about the Jaguars game, because I was doing a bunch of stuff cleaning and whatnot, but I was listening to the Browns game on the thing, and there was a dude, fuck, what was I about to say? Fuck, the dude was speaking, he had an English accent, but I was about to make a connection. Oh, Will Reichard, yeah, he jinxed him. I think he was perfect up until that point, the Vikings kicker.
You hit a wire.
You hit the sky cam wire.
Oh, did he
Yeah, I
dead
did.
ass?
From what
Yeah.
they
Unfortunate.
said, they didn't catch it, but I mean, it didn't look like I saw that when I was watching it live. It just looked like he hooked it right, and I'm just like, geez, what the hell could go wrong with this team? And then they show that later. So it definitely looks like that wire it coasted right up with it perfectly. So that's what I think would happen. I
Oh
don't think it
shit.
was
Yeah.
him, but they didn't catch it. That would have been an ugly loss.
Like you said, speaking of the Jacksonville game, boys, we had a conversation back in July, and I said, I think this team's going to do really well this year. I think they're going to win the AFC South and win about 11 games. And both of you said, you are crazy. This team is garbage. That team that I said that was good was the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys, and now they're currently sitting at 4-1. What are you going to say now?
The Chiefs lost that game.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes
Confirmed.
throwing a friggin' pick six right on the 3, having
And Chris
friggin' Trevor Lawrence
Jones
fall on the ground and swaddle like a fish.
yeah, Chris Jones just gave up.
Chris Jones didn't want to play.
Here's where my level of concern with the Chiefs should probably be kicking in. Like, could you ever remember in the past 3 or 4 years the Chiefs losing a game up 14-0?
They haven't.
No, no, since then.
And last year they had 11. They didn't lose in one score games. Not once. They were 11-0. This year they're 0-3.
Yeah,
They
it's a
can't
level of concern for
they
sure.
can't close out like they've been able to. And it's not Mahomes' fault. Mahomes played great yesterday, albeit the pick six is inexcusable. You're right there. That's the
Outside of that, he was phenomenal the whole night.
exactly. The defense is the problem for Kansas City right now. It's not the offense because the offense is only going to get better with Xavier Worthy and Rasheed Rice coming back.
So here's the thing: it's not the receiving core or Mahomes that's the issue.
No, it's not.
Mahomes still leads the team in rushing.
That's a problem on its own.
They don't have a solid run game that they can trust. Obviously, Kareem Hunt had that one decently chunked run last night, and Pacheco played okay off the screen game. But they need to go out and trade for a running back, and they need to do it now. And I think it should be Brees Hall.
New England needs a third one too because we just lost Antonio Gibson.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't think the offense is going to do anything. I think Kansas City's going to stay with the team. I don't think they're going to go out and try to give anybody like They already have Pacheco. They ain't gonna do
Yeah,
anything, in my opinion.
I don't think they're gonna do anything to improve the running back room. They're gonna ride Condon, Pacheco, and Mahomes in the running game. That's what they're gonna
This
do.
this team is where it's at right now. Like you said, they're only going to get better. Then nothing's wrong with the offense. I mean, really, it's just unfortunate events. Mahomes threw that pick six, and that changed the game. He still came back and took the lead, and they were up by friggin' what were they
For
up by
sure.
4? And
But
it just, I
they
mean,
really only got the lead, though. They really only got that lead because of the stupid throw by Lawrence that went right into the defender's hands, as right into his gut, really, as he was falling down.
but
It's not like
that's more expected than seeing Patrick Mahomes throw an interception, a pick six at the 3 yard line, man. I mean, that I feel that happening for Trevor Lawrence. I don't feel that for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
My opinion.
exactly.
that's fair. That's fair. And Trevor Lawrence also played a phenomenal game last night, too. We have to give him credit where credit is due.
That was probably the
No.
best game of his career, honestly, in terms of a
Could have been
defining
a-
because we were talking about him being a bust.
No, that playoff comeback win against the Chargers is the best game of his career.
Okay, I thank you. I stand corrected, but outside of that game, this was probably the best game of his career.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I could have bet on all the upsets this week, I would be a millionaire. The Eagles and friggin' Denver game really that took me by surprise too. And I'm like, what the hell is happening when they ended it with Kansas City? I'm like, yeah, something's got to give. And I'm like, Sunday night, everything just went everybody's favor for the upsets, and it just couldn't happen. It was like, what is it, the Red Moon or whatever came out yesterday? Yeah,
I mean, the
definitely
Panthers
did.
beat the Dolphins. I
And
mean,
that shit
That was a crazy game.
The Eagles lost ruined my parlay. Justin put the little money emoji on the parlay I posted because that shit was pretty much over, and they end up giving up like a man. I think
well, the Cardinals choked it away to the Titans.
Oh, that was ridiculous. You see
Yeah.
the fumble on the
That was terrible.
Okay, so the fumble, the Cardinals touched the fumble from the Cardinals. That shouldn't have been a fumble. He had control of the ball as it crossed the goal line.
It looked like it to me too.
No, I think
No,
he
he
dropped
did
that ball.
not.
I didn't. I only watched it once.
He dropped
that
it,
ball.
but when he dropped it, he still had control of the ball as it crossed the goal line.
Let me see.
No, that ball was coming out. That guy
I think
dropped
so
that
too,
ball.
Nick. I think that was out.
Okay,
I think that was out.
I would argue that you probably should, because it wasn't like he got punched out or something like that, and he didn't drop it off in the field of play, a la Deshaun Jackson.
I don't know.
Justin, he dropped
That
it
guy
out of
definitely dropped
the
it.
end zone. That's a touchback.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the ruling, but at the same time, I would have gone touchdown and
You
then
know what was more egregious in that game was the interception that was fumbled.
Oh yeah,
I just saw that.
Benny Hill crap.
I just watched that. Oh my goodness,
That was some Benny Hill crap.
Like, how does that happen? First and foremost.
I mean, he was kind of the ball really wasn't in his control when he was. Let me see. I don't know, man. I gotta get a better angle.
He gave up on it.
What I would have done is I would have ruled it a touchdown and let the score let the review confirm.
Oh man, that was rough. And
because any scoring play is reviewed.
Yeah, all scoring plays reviewed.
Mm-hmm. But so are turnovers.
When he was running in on right at real speed, I was like, "That's a fumble." That's the first thing. That's my instinct right there. It already looked like it was coming out by the time he was already done with the play. He thought he scored. I was like, that might be a fumble. That's all I said.
Anytime I see a player drop the ball even remotely close to the goal line, I'm like, that's review that could be a fumble anytime.
Yeah, you should always, for sure. Yeah, that one I'm gonna have to go and like zoom in a little more later. It's just, I watched like 5 times, still couldn't determine. But we were talking about teams. What are they doing? The Chargers, man. Good Lord.
We were talking about them as being barn burners after they brought on the Chiefs, and then a couple weeks later they were still doing great, and now they look like crap.
Yep, they're all hanging around for the Kansas City Chiefs to take that division.
That's really what it seems like too, Nick, because the Chargers could be sitting on a 2-game lead in this division right now had they taken care of business and just beaten the Commanders, who, frankly, I don't think the Commanders are that good.
Not right now, they're not. Not really.
I don't think the Giants are that good, and they took care of business on the Chargers. I don't think it's I think it's just the way it goes. I think they start feeling pressure, and you start feeling down. I'll tell you about pressure. Jalen Hurts felt that pressure from A.J. Brown. trying to force him that freaking ball, dude. AJ Brown is not staying with that
And
team.
why
No, he's
were
getting
AJ
traded.
Brown and Devontae Smith right in the same right like on it like hugging each other to catch the ball?
Yeah, that doesn't make any
What was
I
sense,
up
get
with
it.
does it?
that?
I get it
Jalen
in a
Hurts tried
Hail
to run
Mary
down and
sense.
catch it too.
I get
But
it in
he
a
was
Hail Mary sense, though,
tackling.
because the
But
ball.
AJ Brown was practically tackling Devontae Smith.
No, no, right. That part I don't get. I'm talking about being close in that same
Oh yeah, yeah,
vicinity.
yeah. Close proximity. I'm not talking about that. But why was he practically tackling Devontae Smith?
Yeah. And we mentioned the Giants earlier. Can we pump the brakes on Jackson Dart now? He was
Yes,
horrible,
yes,
horrible against the Saints.
He had one
yes.
good game and he did
Horrible.
that little dance and everybody.
Yeah. Everyone was
But
anointing him the next Eli Manning of New
It was
York.
crazy.
Let's chill out.
yeah, I mean, I
That's
can.
New
You guys
York.
can make the
That's New
same your
York
argument. You beat
football.
okay. You beat the Bills on the
Hmm.
road. Pump the brakes. Yeah, whatever.
It's New York football. That's the way it should go. Every time something good happens for that team, that one game, everybody hangs on to that one game and expects that one game to carry over for the next 5 years. And we're going to be talking about it, just like the Odell Beckham catch. It's just going to be a guy that went out there, won that game, and then they're going to be like, well, he should be doing this every single week. And it doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
No,
Speaking
the
of
He's a
Rams
rookie
Odell
had what is
Beckham,
it
quarterback.
like
You need to
6
give him
weeks?
the benefit of the
He
doubt.
just took his suspension for the NFL for
I was
Yeah,
just
for
gonna say, yeah.
a few
yeah, he
weeks.
just, yeah. That gives me an indication that he's been talking to some teams and he may be coming back at the end of the season.
Who would take him
Because
though
why
right
take the
now?
suspension now?
Who would be picking him up though?
Someone who needs a wide receiver three?
He
Eh.
helped us in the Super Bowl run, but that was also 3 years ago.
He also blew out his ACL in the Super Bowl.
It's fair.
He was on his way to winning Super Bowl MVP that game, too. That's the sad thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was going to take that.
you could see his that ACL blow right when he caught that ball and turned.
Ian, what are we sitting at for time
We have Rey Mysterio 619 619 left in this first part.
in this segment in the first part? Okay, so let's get an overreaction from everybody real quick.
An overreaction. The Patriots are going to challenge the Bills for the AFC East based on the schedule that they have right now.
I'm still calling that an overreaction now, but I'm going to drop it to slight. I'm going to drop it to slight. And the reason I say that is because this is, like I said, with the expectation aspects of it, we need to see what they do now against the teams that they're supposed to beat. My overreaction, Dak Prescott's the MVP of the league right now.
That's hard to argue with how he's playing. I would say probably not an overreaction right now.
That's what I said, right now. All that can change. But I think right now, Dak Prescott's the MVP of the league.
That's alone. Not by wins, right?
No, not by wins, but you could make an argument
Quality of play.
just quality of play. Yeah.
My overreaction is that AJ Brown is going to tear this friggin' team apart, and it's going to be too late for the Eagles to fix it.
Not an
I re-
overreaction. No, he's
Not
going
an
to tear.
overreaction at all. No.
It's already being
All right.
torn apart.
How about this?
The only
I'll stay with Philly. My overreaction is Jalen Hurts cannot hold down a game himself. He needs anybody to stay with him. If
Nick,
Barkley ain't in, he ain't in.
I'll pause that overreaction with this one. Philly's a one and done in the playoffs this year.
That I don't think that's no reaction. I think that's really
That's
possible.
realistic, especially since the fact that they're not using Saquon. They haven't been.
Well, when you have the whole crowd cheering for AJ Brown to get a 2-yard catch, yeah, that right there is showing you that Nick Sirianni and company are like, yeah, we need to get this guy happy. You need to stop doing that and just stick with what you know.
Yeah.
6 carries,
What about
6
you, Ian?
friggin' carries.
The Ravens are gonna finish in last place in the AFC North.
Not an overreaction right now.
Bro, they got somebody said Lamar should win MVP based off of Sunday's game.
Okay, you could have
Dude,
said the same thing when Peyton Manning was out for
uh,
the year. Like by
yeah, I don't really agree with that logic. I thought it was funny.
exactly.
I'm more
No, but
so
the
with you.
Ravens. I mean,
Um,
the
I
Ravens look like
think I
crap.
think that's an over. I think that's an overreaction because the Bengals without Joe Burrow are horrendous.
They just picked up Joe Flacco.
They still got
Oh
the
yeah,
the Bengals have a
that's
tougher schedule though than the
That's an
Ravens.
upgrade over Jake Browning by a mile. I
Oh,
mean,
what
not
an upgrade over Jake Browning.
You know what really bothers me about like when players get injured and all that, and then they go, "This guy should get the MVP because he's not in the game." And I'm like, "Well, if Joe Burrow's not in there and Jake Browning is, more than likely it ain't gonna be Joe Burrow." You know what I mean? Like, go put another elite quarterback there, and it's probably still gonna be the same situation.
hmm
I just hate it when people are like, when you have a third string, second string quarterback filling in for a back, doing a backup role, doing the starting role. I mean, it's more than likely your team's not gonna be very good. I mean,
The
I hate it when
Bengals,
people say that.
and the
the
Bengals' problem.
Bengals
Is not,
traded.
honestly, it's not. Obviously, it's not the receiving core with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Burrow's not the problem. I don't know who they have running the ball, but their offensive line is crap.
hmm
Yeah, they can't. So I agree with you. Burrow's not the problem, but Burrow also can't stay healthy, and that has to be
Yeah, there's something to
said.
be said about that.
Whose fault's that?
Obviously, the
Offensive
line,
line.
Yeah.
Even
but
Zach Taylor. How come Zach Taylor ain't going out there and grabbing these guys? How come he's not signing them right up? Why the hell is
because
T. Higgins? Why is T.
it
Higgins out there getting money when they need an offensive line?
1 minute
because it's
50
not up to
fellas.
strictly Zach Taylor. Obviously, it has to go up to the GM. It has to be approved by the owner, and they have the worst owner in sports outside of Jerry Jones.
That's true.
Speaking of Jerry Jones, he had a little incident with a fan this past Sunday, but
Yeah, he flipped off the Jets fan. That was pretty.
he said that he meant to that dude is just so I don't even think he really knows where he's at, but how about them Cowboys? Yeah, we got about a little intermission, then we're gonna come back for part two, the pick segment. And I was looking at this weekend slate. Hopefully Casey can keep this entertaining because it's not gonna be a very entertaining slate of games this weekend.
Of course, I can. All right, fellas. We'll see you all in about 10 minutes.
All right, yes, sir.